And then I'm going to take me a 2.5-inch grip head, often also called a Gobo head. This will not affect the movement of the gimbal, it's just a safety. Now we're getting to a pretty nice descender rig. Yeah, well, filmmaking can be a lot about trial and error. And to be honest with you, I decided on error. I thought that descender rig would work, and if I kind of build it out a little bit more with 4 ropes, that it would actually stay stable. And I think it would have if it wasn't for the pulleys that I was using, because these are more construction hardware pulleys and not so much climbers pulleys. And climbers pulleys are really meant to be a much better system and much more smooth when you're descending. There's a reason for that when you're rappelling. So it could be my pulleys, and it could just be a terrible rig. But with that being said, I had to go back to the drawing board and wanted to try something a little bit different. And what I've done here is just an over and under pulley, and I attached the gimbal to that pulley system, and hopefully there'll be less like this kind of movement, because on the other rig it just kind of wanted to go down like this instead of one smooth movement. So using very similar items, I tied one end of the rope to my grid overhead, then came down with that rope through one pulley, which then I attached the gimbal to that one pulley. And sadly, I don't have any really good beaners here. That's carabiners. If I had a good carabiner, I would do that instead of a safety wire rope. And then took that rope through that pulley, back up to the next pulley, and then straight back down, and that's going to be my puller. So I will be able to pull the rig up and down as I wish. Without attaching the camera yet, I'm just going to give it a try and see how, right now, looking at it, it's much smoother on the up and down. Now this isn't going to fall as well because there's hardly any weight on it. And one of the downsides with this is because this is a swivel, which I could probably lock this off somehow so it won't swivel, but it is tending to kind of do this. But my initial thought is on this rig, it's going to come down anyways, and I was going to rotate the gimbal and spin it as it does descend. So maybe that'll work to our advantage, and maybe it won't. But right now, I'm feeling pretty confident that this may work. Maybe work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rig it up kind of similar. I'm going to attach a wireless transmitter here so I can actually see what's happening, and then we'll go from there. Got our wireless transmitter here, and I'm going to thread it into the side. This is usually what you would use for a secondary handle with this gimbal. And then hopefully when I get the camera on it, it may straighten up a little bit. Kind of want to get an image first and see if this will actually work or not. And yeah, I can already tell there's a little swing to it. but right off the bat, it's much more smooth than it was before. So we're going to take some test shots with this and see how well it actually did turn out, and I will show those to you next. So one more try. Let me get me a little something. Maybe we can all see. Sometimes you go into a rig and you're thinking like, oh, this and this and this is going to work. And you overcomplicate things to start out with. And then you come back and it's like maybe sometimes the simplest answer is the best answer. And that is common throughout all kinds of filmmaking. You know, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then it's like, okay, well, if I do like this and then I rig like that, that should work. And then you end up having to scrap the whole thing and just do something very simple. And that's the case with this descender rig. I think something very simple like this is going to end up benefiting me more than my previous rig, which was kind of on the insane side. But hey, I'm aware of that. I usually rig up very large cameras, and that kind of rig may have worked for a much larger camera, a larger situation, a larger remote head, not just a gimbal. So I was basing my rig on using an Arri Alexa and a Libra head on a descender rig that I've done in the past, compared to something that's like a fraction of the weight of that and not really industry professional tools. So forgive the first little bit of I really wanted to throw that into the video because I wanted to see, like, sometimes you have an idea and you think that's going to work, and then you get there and you rig it all out and then it doesn't work, and then you go back to, like I said, a more simplistic design, and then that ends up working for you.